I'm here to tell you that failing is okay. That don't be afraid of it. I had originally on the slide that failing was awesome, so I had to take that off, and that's cool. And I'm here to tell you that failing is cool, because you can take that and learn from it. Who here knows how to ride a bike? Raise your hand. Okay. Let me tell you something. Do you guys know when I learned how to ride a bike? At 18 years old. You can laugh at me. I'm willing to take that. I should have learned a lot earlier. I remember that I really wanted to learn how to ride a bike because at that time there wasn't a bus that ran to Nova between 9 and 4. And my ambition was to learn how to ride a bike and then learn how to ride a moped. So I can drive 20 miles an hour down Drainsboro Road and down Route 7. To be honest with you, that wasn't the wisest idea. I stopped riding that moped when I almost got hit by a car in Route 7 and realized walking to school was a little bit of a better idea. I can tell you that when I wanted to learn how to ride a bike, I asked my someone who might consider a brother, Daquan, hey, can you teach me how to ride a bike? And he said, okay. So he brought this bike without training wheels, and he put me in a parking lot and said, you're going to learn how to ride a bike. And I'm going to come back here, I'm going to go play video games. I'm going to come back here in 5 hours. And I was pretty angry about that. I was like, you just left me in a parking lot. And he was like, no, you're not coming home until you learn how to ride that bike. I learned how to ride that bike at the end of those 5 hours. Because I didn't want to look like a fool. That I definitely didn't want my friends making fun of me. Like, he still doesn't know how to ride a bike. And it was even embarrassing to even ask for help because I was 18 years old. I'm a man. I didn't want to look like a fool. I can tell you that I fell off that bike quite a bit. That I completely ruined my pair of jeans, and I got quite a few scabs on me. None of it was permanent. That's good. And the reason why I use this story is that it's okay to fall off that bike. It's okay to, falling off that bike is failing, that you fall off and you scab your knee. And that happens in life. That there are times that you are going to fall and you are going to scab your knee, and every one of you guys in this room are going to get back up and get back on that bike and start pedaling. And that is life in general. That it isn't a smooth ride. That you're continuously learning how to ride that bike better. And then you move from that bike to mopeds, and then hopefully move to mopeds to cars, and you keep on moving further and going forward. And I'm here to tell you that failing is cool, because you learn a lot from it. Because if you didn't fall off that bike in the first place, you wouldn't have learned to get back on. Many of you guys in this room, how many of you guys are going to potentially thinking about Nova or a community college? Raise your hand. All right. How many of you guys in this room are thinking about a four-year university such as GMU, JMU, UVA?
After Nova.
Okay, after Nova, yeah, raise your hand now. Okay, it's a good amount of you guys in this room. I'm here to tell you that I am a graduate of Nova, that I transferred from Northern Virginia Community College to the second best business school in the country at the University of Virginia, and Nova is pretty damn awesome. So, thank you. I can tell you that your next 4 years and your first semester at Nova, I'm going to be honest with you, it is going to be the most difficult semester you've ever been through. Not necessarily because of academics, because you all guys are all really smart in here, you're G's. You're supposed to get a laugh out of that. I can tell you that it's going to be a huge transition in your life. That you're going to be going to a community college and they are not going to walk your hand through anything. In the sense that if you don't come to class, they're just going to use a mark here or nay. And if you don't go talk to the teacher because if you don't do well in the exam, well, you may not do well in that class. I'm going to be honest with you on that. Next. My first semester at Nova wasn't the best of semesters. Not necessarily because I was managing a 35-hour work week, 3 jobs actually, 1 in the game room, one at the Herndon law firm, and then I don't know if you guys remember me, but I was that little guy that pushed carts all the time. I got one in the back that remembers me really well. I was working and going to school full-time, 13 credits. I can tell you that if I can do that, you definitely can. That you can work 1 or 2 jobs, pay for your classes, and go to school full-time. I can tell you that my first semester was a little bit difficult. That I had to learn how to study, because one of my, I would consider necessarily weaknesses and strengths is that I have ADHD, that I get distracted by a lot of things, and sometimes it's hard for me to study. I learned, interestingly enough, I'm going to be honest with you, those textbooks in college are somewhat boring. That you're going to have to read them, but they are somewhat boring. That I remember that within the first week, I conked out sleeping in the library for about 2 hours after 4 pages in an economics textbook. And I love economics, that's the thing, I am a business major. But those textbooks aren't fun to read. I learned that to study, I can't just read a textbook. And you're talking about someone who did graduate for a 3.94 out of high school and only studied for 3 exams. I can tell you that when I got to Nova, I was studying for every single exam. Oh my God, statistics, that was horrible, and calculus. I can tell you that studying was difficult. That how I learned how to study for myself is that I not only had to read the textbook, I had to write notes in the textbooks, I then had to type up the notes, and then pull some of my friends over and lecture them on the material. And they were always running away from me too. Because like, yeah, I got to lecture you on my class. You know, I want to teach you philosophy today. I want to teach you IT. It wasn't fun. I was in for a rude awakening. I can tell you that I had to learn how to manage my time. That working 3 jobs and going to school full time, if you don't manage your time well, it's not going to be a lot of fun. That you're going to be running everywhere. I can tell you in November, remember that whole swine flu epidemic? Okay, I had swine flu and flu in the same month in November. I can tell you that Josephine was taking care of me and she stayed home from work. And you know, it wasn't fun sleeping in bed. And the reason why is that I was on 4.5 cups of coffee trying to stay up and do all the work that I could. And I was only getting 4 hours of sleep. Don't do that. Please manage your time better. I can tell you that as my SPV counselor from Pathways helped me create a time management chart. And then I still use a variation of that today. Except instead of like Microsoft Word documents, I use iPod notes and Google Calendars. And what I'm trying to tell you is that your first semester is going to be a little bit difficult. And that's cool. How many of you guys, and you guys can be honest, how many of you guys have trouble managing your time? Okay. That's really cool. I'm here to tell you that's completely normal. That in high school, I had a very hard time managing my time. And I overcommitted a lot. I would always get in trouble at the law firm sometimes, though I would come in late. And the attorney that I worked for would say that I'm doing too much. Or I didn't manage my priorities as well as I should. And I'm here to tell you that's all right, that you're going to learn that in your first semester. How many of you guys have trouble studying a little bit? Please raise your hand. Okay. I'm here to tell you that's all right too. That when I got to college, I didn't know how to study. I have ADHD, so I get distracted by shiny things a lot too. And that's all right. It's okay to have, you know, I consider that as much as a weakness as a strength. That we have to work just a little bit harder. But that's awesome. Why? Because that makes it just a little bit more powerful. That when we get that A, when we get that B, it's like, you know, we worked hard for this. You know, we busted our butts. And that is fine. You will go through that, and that will be the hardest part of your semester. And after that, the rest of college is easy. You know what to do. You know what teachers not to take? Because you use ratemyprofessor.com afterwards. It's a great site. Write that down. College survival tip. That is cool.